Jalyn is a content creator I consider myself to be friends with. That's why I hope this video and the criticism within it is taken on board by them, and they consider their approach again and reconsider how they've handled this situation thus far, as to say the least, it's been abhorrent. Jalyn released a video, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, where they very clearly monetized and capitalized upon a person being diagnosed with cancer. That person's name will be completely excluded from this video, as I don't feel comfortable benefiting in any way from their diagnosis and the trauma they're dealing with. But if you'd like to support a fundraiser that actually tries to help people and save lives who are dealing with similar things to cancer, consider checking out the fundraiser attached on the right of this video and putting your money towards that instead of me. It would be highly appreciated. I don't need the money, and it would mean more if you could put the money towards that charity, and you'll get a personalized thank you from me, because it does mean a lot if you could support a cause that helps people like my close relatives who are actually dealing with cancer or have had cancer. That money goes towards saving lives, and it would mean a lot if you could consider supporting people that are struggling, and hopefully they'll pay it forward and support you if you ever needed it. With that being said, I understand topic commentary, okay? If you want to release a video that's like,
guys, this situation is insane. This is actually crazy. My mind is blown. I cannot believe this person has cancer. Oh my god, I am so shocked, guys. Like the channel, subscribe to the video.
On any other situation, I'd perfectly understand it, because at the end of the day, it's not really harming anybody. But in a situation where someone's diagnosed with actual cancer or something of the like, it seems very selfish to release a video where you say absolutely nothing in the situation, provide actual no personal analysis of your own, and basically just benefit from their trauma and their struggles in a selfish and careless way, while putting it under the guise of donating the earnings of the video towards charity, while self-promoting and more in the video. I wouldn't really have an issue if you were news reporting, you weren't benefiting in any way, and it was really just to help these people that are struggling. But when you clickbait a video like that, it just seems shameless. I mean, to take a clip from John Swan, a very dramatic reenactment of what the description reads, you'll see why people are calling them out for algorithm abusing to the extent that's probably against the terms of service.
So, Jalyn has cancer. Now I just want to say that I will be donating money made from this video to charity. Now, as you guys know, Jalyn has been gone for the last few months. People have been wondering what happened to Jalyn. Well, today, Jalyn uploaded a new video, and he explained where he's been, and that when Jalyn reveals he has cancer, which I just feel bad for Jalyn. Jalyn doesn't deserve this. Now, one thing that I find awful is people on Twitter and YouTube have been celebrating Jalyn getting cancer, and I just don't understand why people would do this. They actually waste their time doing this. Now, thankfully, most people supported Jalyn, and Jalyn's support started trending on Twitter. It was nice to see people come together and support Jalyn. So this is the Jalyn situation explained.
I don't really agree with this approach to a very serious situation where someone is dealing with literal cancer. It seems selfish, and it seems like you just want your video to do well, and they self-admitted in a tweet later it was for the algorithm, which is simply something I don't agree with. If you're going to release a video because you have no other video for the day where you put money or views first, I think you're probably someone that nobody will trust the credibility of, and probably someone that doesn't actually care about the people they're talking about and isn't really respected. They actively admitted to doing this for a daily video, but it's very obvious that was their intent even if they didn't admit it themselves. If I was to give Jalyn some advice here, now this video on its own would be shameless and I would have issue with it. I have issue with anyone that makes videos in this situation. I actually released a tweet before about this situation saying please don't make a video on it if you're a topic commentary buddy. Seems Jalyn didn't take that advice, but I wouldn't agree with a video, but I'd be more forgiving of a video if you weren't the exact same person that a few hours before released a tweet where you called out people for doing the exact same thing. Now, I understand if it had been a few years or months and your opinion had changed on the situation, but it was a few hours. There was no changing opinions. Jalyn just saw a beneficial way to profit themselves and didn't have a video idea for the day, so they decided to make a video where they capitalized upon this situation for their own self-benefit while saying the bare minimum to get past and make money. Or get subscribers. And this approach was hypocritical. Most people called them out for that, and I'd agree with the perspective people have had on it. Jalyn tried to defend it in a video, but I think their defense really didn't change anything from the general consensus that it was for their own self-benefit and hypocritical. Jalyn's tweet called out people that were making the exact same video they made right after. Jalyn then, when they got called out for this situation, basically had a meltdown on Twitter. A meltdown of incomparable size that seems to happen very commonly with Jalyn. Jalyn was really upset when a content creator that they respected and were a fan of, was severely disappointed in them for making posts or videos benefiting from someone being diagnosed with cancer, especially after releasing tweets that were sharing the viewpoint that that was a disgusting thing to do a few hours earlier. Jalyn got really obsessive in this tweet, saying that they were like really upset that this person disagreed with them. It got to the point where it was like concerning, like why would you care that much if some guy that just records videos doesn't agree with you on this situation? And Jalyn then decided to get in an argument with people on Twitter where they were mocking them, and Jalyn told someone that was just taking the piss out of their title to kill themselves, which was really far from someone that was just having a joke and criticizing them. And Jalyn's account then got banned, and they deactivated their second account. To which Tipster and Optimus, the bigger content creator Jalyn respects, reached out to Jalyn and tried to talk to them, tried to sort out the issues, and tried to check if Jalyn was okay. To which Jalyn responded, fair enough, saying they weren't in a state to talk about it at the moment. Which I understand, I get it. I get that you wouldn't be in a state to talk about it if you're very stressed or having a breakdown. I'm not going to push you to talk to someone. And I would completely understand it if they hadn't released a video a few hours where they respond to the situation and make an apology that wasn't even an apology really, where they just defend themselves a bunch and make excuses for what they did. Just an added note, because I forgot to mention this in the video, in Jalyn's video they also bash Optimus for some of their tweets, taking them out of context to make Optimus look worse and twist the situation to try to be more in their favor, which obviously led the content creator that was trying to check on them, the bigger one that Jalyn was a fan of, releasing a video where they call out everything Jalyn did and say, this was just fucking stupid of you. And I hate to say it, but I completely agree with their assumption and conclusion in this situation. If I was to give Jalyn some advice, firstly, don't make videos on tragedy if you don't have anything important to say in the situation, you don't have a perspective to give, and you don't have criticism or feedback or personal opinion to present in the video. If your video is just doing the bare minimum to scrape by, get a daily video, and make money, you shouldn't really be making it. On a serious subject, anyway. I get making a video on a serious situation, if you have something actually important to say about it. If you actually have a reason to make the video, if there's any reason other than just stating what's being said and replying with, wow, this is insane, getting your money, running away with the paycheck, like everything's okay. Especially after you criticize people for doing the exact same thing. Also, just a slight nitpick, if you're gonna make a video that's supposed to be for charity and not about your own self-benefit, maybe don't gloat on Twitter about how well it's doing, or promote your social media in the video. But furthermore, if you don't want to take my video advice, that's fine. I understand it. But here's some genuine advice you need to take. Stop returning to Twitter. Stop logging onto Twitter. I saw you return again and then deactivate again earlier today. It's not a good idea, okay? For clarity's sake, I'd like to mention that they did make a video earlier saying that they won't be returning to Twitter anymore and apologizing for their actions, but to be completely honest, considering they were arguing with people so recently, it doesn't seem like they've actually learned, and I thought I'd give this advice anyway, in hopes if they haven't learned, they can understand a bit clearer what they did wrong, and understand how they can proceed following it. But the fact they mentioned they won't return to Twitter for a few months is good. I just hope that they don't double back on that decision. You shouldn't be on Twitter because you're very clearly not in a state where you can handle backlash of this size, and you're very clearly upset about the reaction people have had, and you're very clearly in an unstable position. Returning to a platform that constantly upsets you, constantly puts you in a terrible place, and constantly causes breakdowns like this is not going to help you. And the fact you keep coming back is obsessive, and like you can't leave the platform if you tried. I don't mean to be harsh, but the fact you keep returning to Twitter despite every time you return ending up in this situation is fucking stupid. You end up having an argument where you can't admit the fact you're wrong, and then you have a breakdown and expect everyone to forgive you and feel sorry for you after you don't even listen to the criticism they've presented to you. I get not wanting to take criticism, but if you can't take the heat, don't go into a platform that's not good for your mental health. And don't criticize people for something you're going to do yourself, especially if you know you're going to do it, like it was a few hours. Don't flip-flop like that, because people will pick up on it and people will call you out for it. Overall, I want what's best for you, and what's best for you is not to release videos if those videos actively go against your personal morals for money. Maybe take a break from content creation because it's clearly burning you out, it's clearly putting you in a state that's not healthy for you. And log off of Twitter, don't use Twitter anymore because it's not good for your mental health, it's a toxic platform that's just going to make you end up in a worse situation than you're already in. A lot of people don't respect you at the moment. You could earn that respect back with time if you keep putting work into your content, if you show you've changed and learned, if you actually make a change in how you've been acting, instead of just continuing the same cycle of behavior that everyone's noticed, that everyone keeps pointing out to you is happening. I don't really have much more to say than you should watch Optimus's video on this whole situation if you'd like more information. I don't intend to drag this video out any further. I hope that Jalyn takes my advice, log off of Twitter, and take more time considering your videos before you make them. Maybe poll people if they want you to make a video on something, and don't release a video that actively goes against the morals you presented a few hours prior. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time, peace.